I am. Let me get some light on too. Oh, that makes it worse. I see, because it's behind me. Okay. I got this ring light and I'll be doggone, I can't figure it out. It's just not. Oh, it's better. Okay. All right. You ready? Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Digi Sis in the Digi World. My name is Ina P. Montgomery. I am founder and executive director of Urban Tech, where the TEC is the acronym for Technology Empowered Communities. And so we are having a good time. The last couple of weeks, I've had some great guests on: Christine Chandler, Andrea Cook, Andrea Ellis. And today for Black History, I was supposed to have a guest, but he had a last minute meeting come up, but he is committed to coming next week. And that would be Dr. Durrell Davis of Kansas City Public Schools, who's going to come on and tell us about the classes that they will be teaching or are teaching. I'm not exactly sure because I just heard about it, but it's targeted to secondary students about Black history. So I am excited to hear more about that. And I'm sure hopefully you are too. So we'll find out all the details about that next week. Okay. So for today, I put together, I think it was 2019, because we know nothing kind of happened, unfortunately, last year. But in 2019, I put together a presentation to celebrate Blacks in technology. And so I thought this would be a great time to share that information with you all. And we know that, at least for us, we don't turn on being Black, if you will, for like 28 days in February. For most of us Black Americans, we are Black 365, 24/7. So there is no, I'm going to celebrate being Black this month. No, I celebrate being Black every day as much as I can. And any opportunity that I get to share the contributions of Blacks, because actually our history is not taught. For example, I went last weekend to the movie theater, me and about 5 of my friends and 4 other people. So there were actually just 10 of us inside the AMC theater to see Judas and the Black Messiah. Great movie, but unfortunately, we all walked out like, how come we didn't know this history before? Why are we just now finding out about William O'Neill? So if you had not had a chance, it is a great movie to see, to give some backdrop to Fred Hampton, who was remarkable for his time. And when people like that come and they're so young, he died at 21, or I'm sorry, was killed at 21 years of age. I feel those people are God sent for us to still be talking about him in 2021, and the impact that he had in that short period of time was a heartening that he was only with us for that short period of time, but look how deep and long the impact of his life and the purpose that he served is still having in our community, where we're still talking about him, and where a whole movie was created just to tell his story. So, like I said, I believe some people are only here for a moment, for a reason, for a purpose. Well, we all are. But in that case, it is definitely worth seeing if you have not. And I understand, you don't want to go to the theater. You're not quite ready yet. And so it's on HBO Max. If you subscribe to that, that would be another opportunity for you to see the movie. But it is definitely in the movie theater, and they social distance. I mean, like I said, it was really mostly me and my friends who took up the theater, and the closest people were 3 rows up. So anyway, definitely worth seeing as we talk about Black history. So let me pull up my PowerPoint. Hopefully this will come up in, I'm not sure what view this is going to come up, but I am set up, no, I don't need to set up audio, okay. So let's see, so celebrating Blacks in technology. And so I wanna take some time here to, as I said, pay tribute to some people and names and inventions. Oh my gosh, there are, I feel so lazy sometimes when I look at things like this and you see all these inventions and patents that these Black people took the time to actually submit to the PTO, to the Patent Trademark Office about their idea. So here we have Richard Spikes. Over the course of his lifetime, he developed the following inventions or innovations. And so you can see this man was busy from 1906 to 1962. The beer keg tap. Uh, I bet our Caucasian brothers and sisters would be surprised to know that, wouldn't they? I'm gonna have to share that information with them. But we've got this self-locking rack for billiard cues. I mean, just a range of inventions, method and apparatus for obtaining average samples and temperatures of tank liquids. So we're ranging science, we're ranging creativity, innovation, transmission and shifting, automatic gear shift. So in these cars, as you see here in the picture, I don't know if you guys can notice that or not, but it's showing us, let me see my marker right here. So the gear shift in our cars is responsible for Richard Spikes. Garrett C. Morgan, we are familiar with, responsible, as we see, for the stoplight and for the gas mask. Now, be careful with him. I know when my niece was in high school and she was doing some research, having been told about Garrett C. Morgan, and there is some fella over in Britain, somewhere across the pond, who claims, oh no, I invented the stoplight first. Garrett C. Morgan did a modification and claimed it over in America. And so, as we know, always trying to rewrite our history, always trying to minimize our contributions, but just know you can check with the U.S. Patent Office. Garrett C. Morgan was way out in front with the stoplight, the gas mask inventions, and we've got the proof, of course, to prove it. Then we have Dr. Charles Drew, who is responsible for blood plasma. And blood plasma, let me see, defined here is the clear straw colored liquid portion of blood. And so with this, he was able to help with the process for blood transfusions for people. And I read, and again, I apologize for not confirming before today, but I believe he died with the need for blood and went to a hospital and could not get blood, could not get a blood transplant, transfusion, whatever they're called, because he was Black. So the irony of the work that he done, the contribution that he made, and his death as a result of not being able to take advantage of his own invention. Alexander Miles, here we have the elevator, and he's responsible for the patent to actually close the elevator doors. And so elevators, if you go into a lot of old buildings, they had this thing you had to pull down, and then you could go to each floor, but they did not have the ability for an elevator to actually have doors that closed and doors that opened. And it was because of Alexander Miles and his invention that became possible. Again, stuff we're not taught in school. We're taught, you know, all the bad things about, you know, Black folks, but not our contributions here in America. So I'm hoping, well, I'll wait to the end for my comments. So here we have Patricia Bath. Now, I was able to take advantage of her invention, which was to remove cataracts. So cataracts, for a lot of Black folks, is a result of your diabetes being under control, and so it can affect your eyes. And so she had several relatives in her family who had diabetes, and their vision became a little foggy. And so when she looked into it, being a doctor, she realized that it was this fog over their lens. I'm not even going to try to be technical. I just know that I could not see very clearly. I wouldn't have my cataracts removed. And then I was able to see things more clearly than I had for a couple of years. And so she is responsible for that invention. Oh, sorry. And now next we have the home security system. I love this. This is Marie Van Brittan Brown. And it was her and her husband who, back in the 1960s, filed this application. You guys have got to go online and look this up because this invention, this patent is so detailed. And they lived in Maryland and had their house had gotten broken into a couple of times. And they then said, hey, we need some kind of, home security system, to counter burglaries. And here they came up with it. So Ring people and all these other people who claim, they're pioneers in home security. Let's thank Marie Van Brittan Brown and her husband. And so let me see the notes here. The patent was approved on December 2nd, 1969. Its title is Home Security System Utilizing Television Surveillance. So not only did they come up with the television, but if you think now about, the home security system, but if you think now of all the buildings that you go to, and what is security doing? They're looking at the televisions for surveillance. And who do we have to thank for that? Thank you again, Marie Van Brittan Brown and your husband. This is some good stuff, y'all. Y'all better be sharing this. Voice. So VoIP is an acronym for Voice over Internet Protocol. Well, that's a mouthful, Miss Ina. What exactly does that mean? That means that when we switched from the landline, meaning an analog signal, into your home, the old wires, AT&T and all that good stuff, and when we transitioned over to the internet and digital voice, it was voice over IP, voice over internet protocol. So now we have the ability to talk, as you see, they're showing some devices there, across the internet. And we can thank Dr. Marion Croak for that invention. And so again, this is all stuff you can look up. Hopefully you guys are writing down these names and you'll do some research on your own. I always tell people, feel free to fact check me. And if you find anything wrong that I'm saying, send me an email, no problem. But Dr. Marion Croak right now is at Google. And so I would have to look her title up, but she is taking her knowledge base and her mind and really contributing to Google. And I read an article a couple of weeks ago about her challenges there as being, this is a brilliant Black woman, not even, no question at all about it. And here she is in this culture of young white kids who have no idea about her, who have no idea about Marion Van Brittan, Patricia Bath, Alexander Miles, Charles Drew, Garrett C. Morgan. And so here they are thinking that, they know more, they're better, the whole thing, not knowing how great of a people that Dr. Marion Croak comes from. So again, check her out. Mark Dean. Now this is one of my favorite. Well, they're all my favorites, but I had a chance a couple of years ago to talk to Mr. Dean. I believe now he lives in Kentucky, but he, for years, his career was primarily with IBM, International Business Machines, for you old school people who are familiar with IBM. And he came up with the ISA-bus technology. And so that technology is the technology that allows, let me see, I'll just read, let me see. Mark Dean is an African-American inventor and computer engineer. He was part of the team that developed the ISA-bus, and he led a design team for making a 1 gigahertz computer processing chip. And we're talking like early 1990s, way ahead of his time. And so as the computer continued to evolve, he saw the need, for the peripheral devices to be, plugged in, to be attached to the computer. You got to have a keyboard, you got to have a mouse, you got to have all this stuff. Well, it's a bus technology that provides for that. And so it was Mark Dean who he didn't say, and I probably, if I looked at his self-worth, he's got to be worth $1 million, because another person with all these patents that he was responsible for when he led that team of people when he worked for IBM. And so I know now he and his wife are in Kentucky, I believe. He teaches. He's a professor at the university there. And then they do a lot of giving back in their community, working with kids. I know when I talked to him, it was about the Arduino board and the things that he was doing with that. And so he's still, giving back in his own way in his community. And so that's just great, because that's what it takes. It's one thing to know all this stuff and have all these contributions and inventions, but encouraging and motivating that next generation is what it's all about. All right. So next we have Dr. Shirley Jackson. So here, people are on their phones 24/7, not knowing that back in the day, for caller ID. And so, I can think of a couple of jokes to to come as a result of that, but I'm not going to do that. But Dr. Jackson led a team to come up with this innovative technology where, because before, again, some of you new school people would not understand us old school people. And so all we had a phone and it rang and we said, oh, okay, we don't know. You didn't know who it was until you picked the phone up and said hello. And so with this little device, as you see over here, manufactured by General Electric, which is what the GE stands for, people were able to see the identification of the person who was calling their home. And so it would give them the person's phone number, as you see, and the person's name. And this is where caller ID came from. So now, as we know, it has evolved into a digital format where we can pick up our phone. And if that person's in our contact, well, now the person's in our contacts. If we don't save that person as our contacts, we're going to see that number. But way back in the day with that analog phone and this little device hooked up to your phone, we could identify who was actually calling us. And so thank you, Dr. Shirley Jackson, for this technology. Oh, okay. So I think that, let me see, what do I have here? What do I have here? Oh, I'm talking about how the digital divide still exists. I could have gone on had I actually looked at this presentation. So when I gave this presentation, I provided all that information on those people. Let me just run back through real quick as we transition to the second half of that presentation. So we've got Richard Spikes. I would like for you guys to look into, and I know there are so many people I could have highlighted. And as I'm thinking about it, I might make this a part of my show because, as I said, we are what? Black History 365, and not just 28 days of a month every year. So with that, I think I'll add a segment where I am showcasing, because I think I talk pretty fast, unfortunately, but I can probably get in about 3 people every week to introduce you guys to. So as we recap, you want to check out Richard Spikes, Garrett C. Morgan, Dr. Charles Drew, Alexander Miles, Patricia Bath, Marie Van Britten Brown, Dr. Marion Croak, Mark Dean, and Dr. Shirley Jackson. So again, just a drop in the bucket of Blacks who have contributed so much to the field of technology with their inventions, with their knowledge, with their creativity, with their innovation, with their ideation. So we need to teach that history, because we know in general it's not being taught in the schools. It's just interesting, as America is going through this racial reckoning, the conversations, I guess courageous conversations is what they call them, having. And I was talking to a friend of mine in, where is Rona? She's in New Jersey, and she talked about the how surprised she was at a call that she was on discussing the book White Fragility, and how they just did not know a lot. And I was like, no, they've been drinking the Kool-Aid, their whole life. And we're talking like 50, 60-year-old people who were, I don't know if they were physically upset, but they were just upset that a lot of information about Black people and the contributions had been kept from them, and they just did not know. And they didn't even know that they needed to seek it, because they had been told so much otherwise. But anyway, my interest, my importance is that our kids know this history, that our kids understand how great a people that we come from. We're not from a culture of twerkers. We're not from a culture of shrugging our shoulders saying, I don't know, I don't have any idea, I don't have any clue. No, we know stuff. We are rich with knowledge and information. We built the pyramids. We are mathematicians. We are engineers. Look at how the pyramids were constructed. That's all math and science. That's technology. That's engineering. That's knowing how to lay each of those layers until you had a pyramid shape. That's cutting the stone to fit. I mean, if you think about the process of what they did, and that some of those buildings still exist today, that is what Black folks did. So never undermine or underestimate or minimize any of our contributions, kids out there, if you're listening. All right, so the second half of this presentation went on to talk about Kansas City metropolitan area. Let me see. And oh yeah, so no surprise here. The digital divide still exists. And I think what I did, this was a Brookings report that was, let me see, can't remember what year, but there's the source there. Black and Hispanic underrepresentation in tech, it's time to change the equation. So again, this is why Mr. Walker does the work that he does, because he's known this for 20 years or 15, 20 years, however long he's been doing Black family technology, and the work that he did before that. This is why I do what I do. This is why William Wells at Esteemed Village does what he does, because we know the disparity. We know that if we don't stand in this gap to close the digital literacy divide, access to the internet, digital literacy skills, just to encourage our kids, to expose our kids, nobody else is. Now we've got people out there and they're saying, oh yeah, no, we're interested in Black kids. We're trying, yeah, as long as you have some grant funding. We do this work without grant funds. We do this work because it needs to be done, and because we want our kids to have access to it, not because I'm going to be a program manager over some local, state, federal grant, and I'm going to get some money, and oh, those poor Black kids, oh, let me show them some technology, and as soon as that money's gone, then I'm gone too. No, our mission is what? 365, 24/7. And so this is what we do as a purpose. As I said earlier, when I was talking about that movie, we are purposed for this work. We're not just doing it haphazardly. So here, so this was from the census information, and it looked at Black workers representation in computers and math. So this is from the census 2010, 2016. So yeah, we're a couple, well, not too many years behind. And let me see here. If I go, I think I highlighted, there we go. Kansas City ranked 44. And as you see, it's including Kansas. And let me see, computer and math, Black share 2.8%. Can you see that here? And can you see like Columbia, South Carolina is at 33.2. I mean, look at the disparity there. We claim to be this progressive. Well, We already know Missouri is not a progressive state because it was what? The last state to free the slaves. See, if you don't know your history, we're still dealing with residual effects of Missouri being the last state to free the slaves. So here we have over and under representation, 2010 to 2016, -4 and -6.0, and the change is only what? 1.4%. In fact, it did what? It went down from 2010 to 2016. So going the wrong way. And we see here we have, this is for the Hispanic population, I believe, in Kansas City. And they are not doing well either. And so, yeah, this represents the Hispanic information. They were at 4.6. And so they kind of broke even as far as their representation. I'm curious to know if this report has been updated. So Blacks and Hispanics underrepresented across most STEM clusters. And so here we have Blacks represented in this kind of light green. And so as we see STEM careers, STEM jobs, and I'm assuming these are percentages. And so we got at 9% among those who work in jobs, engineering, 5%, health related, 11. I mean, the numbers are just low compared to, you know, and I don't really like saying compared to our counterparts, because really, if you look at the disparity and the socioeconomic differences and inequities that we deal with, there's really no way to directly compare us with a majority group. But the numbers here, as we see, are very low. Racial earnings gaps narrow in STEM workforce than non-STEM workforce. And so they're saying the gaps are not as big. However, I believe in the last week on the news, there was a report about the earnings gap of Black folks and how low it is compared to the majority. So again, we look here, and I'm assuming again, these are percentages, 81% Black, 73%, I'm sorry, STEM jobs, 81, Black people, 73% as far as the earnings. And so a lot of work that needs to be done there. Solutions. Oh, good. And so it's one thing to talk about a problem, but doggone, can we talk about some solutions? So here we are. We know education's it. And the only thing with education, we also know that there is no education bond for the city of Kansas City. And so other communities have vested in their education for their kids because they know the importance of that investment and how down the road they will get their return, their ROI on their investment. Look at Lee Summit. They build the Summit Technology Academy. Blue Valley's got Blue Valley Caps. If you've not had a chance to visit those buildings, I know we've got COVID, but they can probably do like one person just to walk through. Shawnee Mission has the Achievement Building. I mean, when you look at these different school districts, they get it. They know it's got to be learning past the classroom to prepare kids. Some of these kids are doing internships at Cerner. They're doing internships at hospitals. What is happening for our kids who are in the urban core? Are they having those similar educational experiences in high school so that they're ready for college? I think the answer is no. In fact, I know the answer is no. You might have one or two, but is there a cohesive plan or program? And there's not one that I'm aware of that is a pathway or a track that a student can say, hey, I'm at Central High School, I'm at East, I'm at Northeast, and I want to pursue thus and so. Where's my opportunity for that higher level of education, knowledge, and experience? IT workforce development. I know that my partners over at the W. Du Bois Learning Center have been doing Cisco training for years. They've been doing network, A plus, systems, whatever you want. And I don't think they charge anything. So when we talk about IT, which is information technology, workforce development, there are opportunities in our community that we need to take advantage of. And so contact those people over there at the W. Du Bois Learning Center about their Cisco Academy. Cisco is globally known. And so what you can get a certification in cybersecurity. And so at least you've got that certification. Now you can go get an entry-level job with that cert and start building your career. Training on everything, soft skills training, technical training, workforce training, how to be a better person, how to be a better employee. All kinds of training is out there. And so it's just a matter, I provide training. So if you need some training, if you need some contacts with the Learning Center, please feel free to reach out to me. And then career opportunities, if you take care of those three, trust me, the career opportunities will come. And so that's what it's about. Now, in some cases, we might have to say, hey, I do have the education, I do have the training, I do have that cert, but that opportunity is not there. Again, I've got some good contacts where I can put them on the line and say, hey, you've got access to those career opportunities. I've got some people who are trained, ready to go. They've got this soft skills development. Let's work together and get them employed. All right, so support the Black technology ecosystem. So as I'm mentioning, you've got Urban Tech, you've got George Walker with Black Family Technology, you've got the W. Du Bois Learning Center, who is doing that certification training. I know for at least about 20 years. I've been following them or aware of them or with them, however you want to call it, since they were in their original building on 55th and Cleveland, and they were doing technology way back then. You've got, as I said, William Wells at Esteem Village. In fact, I'm going to show here in a minute. He's got an announcement I wanted to make you all aware of. So that is it. That's the presentation on celebrating Blacks in technology. Let me see if I can find this flyer that he emailed me. I know I did a download, and I know, let's see, where is it? Oh, there it is right here. So I'm going to open that, and then I'm going to switch back over to, let's see, where am I? Right here. I'm going to go to share screen. And here it is. All right. So Mr. Wells, and I wanted him on the show today in place of Dr. Davis, but he couldn't make it. And so I asked him, did he have anything coming up he wanted me to announce? And so here it is. I believe National Society of Black Engineers. He's been a major player with the local NSBE, and they have their SEEK, as you see, summer program coming up. And SEEK being the acronym for Summer Engineering Experience for Kids. And so you can register. It is free, targeted to grades 3 through 5. And this is what I like about William. He's already planning for the summer, and I'm still sitting here like, what am I going to do this summer? And I have some ideas, but now's the time to get out in front. Now's the time to get these things funded and paid for. And I know, like I said, he's been working with National Society of Black Engineers for a couple of years. In fact, I believe he was the chapter of the year last year, either in 2020, I'm pretty sure 2020, if not, it was 2019. And so grades 3 through 5 got 2 dates there. These are virtual camps. And so if you know any kids who are, here, every camp registrant will receive, that's what he told me, a free Amazon Fire tablet. So we all know we love that word free. So here's an opportunity for our kids to spend, looks like a week, or is that 2 weeks, with this camp, virtual, so they're safe because of COVID. And after they complete the camp, or it says each registrant, not sure how that's defined, but they will receive a free Amazon Fire tablet. So that is that announcement. And this is me staying true to, what's going on in the community. We have to support each other. There is so much work that needs to be done with our kids. There is no need for, I'm going to be the one, because I know there's like one or two people out there who think they're the one in technology in Kansas City. And it's just funny because no, you're not. Sorry. Mr. Walker's been out here way too long. I've been out here. William's been out here. Christine Chandler, Andrea Cook, Andrea Ellis, all of us have been out here on this line in our own perspective, in our own lanes, doing the work that needs to be done, and not walking around trying to have our names at all these conferences and putting up this facade as if we've been doing some serious work. So anyway, my soapbox. All right, that is it. I had some jazz. I think Mr. Walker, he asked me, he's so funny. Is that free? Is that yes, Mr. Walker, my little music was royalty free. I wouldn't try to take KUAW down like that. So I can't even find the file now, but I'm going to play it next time because I liked it. So anyway, that's it for today, y'all. We're going to be back next week with Dr. Durrell Davis. I might try to squeeze in William Wells. He was just too short notice for today, but he said he'd love to come back. Like I said, we're 365 Black, so I can have anybody on at any time. And so that's it. I am Ina P. Montgomery. I'm a Digi sis in a Digi world. Signing off until next week.